Kia ora. My name is Ash Howell and I'm a citizen and resident of Aotearoa, New Zealand under the Agreement Te Tiriti of 1840. I hold a Bachelor's of Industrial Design with first class honours from Massey University in Wellington. This degree involves studies in technical and biological nutrient studies and cycles, environmental infrastructure, material science and product flow analysis. I also hold a master's degree in art and science from the University of Applied Arts in Vienna, Austria. This study included energy design, international source material tracing, and practicing institutional interventions to change waste practices in governmental organisations. My design work in the Netherlands, Austria and Aotearoa has focused on whole system approaches to materials use, urban metabolisms and cultural indicators of waste. I have been awarded 2 Designers Institute of New Zealand Best Awards for my design work and have been a finalist in the Dyson Awards. I have run for political office in Whangarei, narrowly missing out on being elected to local council, whilst gaining a substantial and impassioned support base. I have been variously described as a thought leader, committed community creator, and a voice for the people. I am here today representing many community voices in Whangarei and Aotearoa, New Zealand. I am the Green Party candidate for Whangarei in the 2017 general election. I am fundamentally, operationally and culturally opposed to the South Taranaki Bight offshore iron sand and extraction and processing project as proposed by Trans Tasman Recources, a foreign-owned company with offices in Wellington and Perth. I acknowledge that with a budget of over $60 million over the course of 7 years, a 2014 application to the same Environmental Protection Agency was so absurd that it was turned down on the back of a campaign by real New Zealanders volunteering for something they all care deeply about. That same Environmental Protection Agency is now versed with considering a very similar application to the last one. All of the Kiwis who are donating their time to prevent their resources from being shipped overseas for very little profit and our environment being degraded for the benefit of a corporate few are being dragged through the process all over again. It is deeply unfair. In an age when issues around consent are at the fore of our cultural dialogue, I fundamentally acknowledge that no means no. Just because you are large, have lots of money and can call on powerful friends does not mean you are exempt from this. No means no. In the latest publicly available data from the Ministry for the Environment, in 2011, New Zealand sent 2.46 million tonnes of waste to municipal landfills to be stored. Of this waste, a full 5% is non-ferrous metal, steel. This equates to approximately 123,000 tonnes of steel every single year to landfill. That's roughly 26 kgs every year for each and every one of us. Steel is worth far more than iron ore. A steel spot price is roughly $300 a tonne as opposed to only $80 a tonne for ore. The International Bureau of Recycling states that steel recycling uses 74% less energy, 90% less virgin materials, 40% less water, and produces 76 fewer water pollutants, 86 fewer air pollutants, and 97% less mining waste than producing steel from raw material. Using 123,000 tonne of our steel that is going to landfill each year is equivalent to almost 37 million New Zealand dollars of steel that we already own going straight into the rubbish dump every year. $37 million. When you account for the possibility that reusing steel could potentially save $6 million worth of oil, $4.7 million worth of electricity every year, on top of not using coal or filling up our landfills, the royalties that we might get from Trans Tasman Recources are absolutely paltry. Why would we ever want to go to all the effort to dig iron up from under the sea when we've already got it and we're just throwing it in the bin? Using these figures, simply by replacing the iron ore proposed to be dredged up from a fragile seabed off our coast, New Zealand could save ourselves and the world 79 million kilowatt hours of energy. 78,000 kgs of coal, 220,000 barrels of oil, and 283,000 cubic meters of landfill space every single year. Steel can be infinitely recycled, and almost 40% of all of the world's steel production is made from scrap. This is not dreaming. This is 40% of one of the world's largest industries. CO2 emissions are reduced by 58% through the use of scrap steel as opposed to virgin iron ore. By switching our focus from hard to get raw materials to the simple recycling of materials that we already have, we start to make impact on our carbon obligations rather than running away from the agreements that we've already signed. I think all New Zealanders pride themselves on upholding their word and are sick of governments not acting on the promises that we've all made together. We can no longer think of the world, our economy, our environment as silos which are separate and do not relate to each other. Iron ore mining is absolutely linked to the sending of steel to landfill. In so many ways, if we used our resources more effectively, we would be able to afford so much more for ourselves. We can no longer rely on a hell-bent push towards efficiency. Efficiency is simply eating the planet up, eating ourselves up, and we're getting absolutely nowhere with it. It is time, and it is our time. It is our time to stand up against the destruction and the desecration and say yes. Say yes, I am brave enough. I am brave enough to be part of a nation and a land that takes full responsibility for its actions. And yes, that will be what makes the lives of all of us more connected, more fulfilling, and ultimately more possible for them even to continue. This absolutely cannot be another case of no, meaning we will come back with a bigger bank balance and we will have our way despite what New Zealand thinks. We say no. This absolutely has to be a powerful chance for the Environmental Protection Agency to stand up, do their job. It is a chance for the people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, to again have faith that those in power really do care about us. Hold everything that we care about in their hearts, and that they will do their jobs like they care about us. Thank you.